What is up, everybody? Keith Jameson, Go Big Guy 231 across the DFS industry. We have a 5-game EPL slate. Feels like a very long time since then. Just a quick refresher. The more games, when you're playing like optimal and cash games, the more games, the more spread out the ownership is, the less and less important, and this is going to sound backward, but the less and less important nailing the goals end up being, because those goals get lesser and lesser owned. And thus the floors and like the kind of the perspective that I kind of give on this show, which is really targeting a lot of the set pieces, the wide players that are going to cross the ball, give us solid floors. And hey, when they get a goal or upside, you know, we're rocking. Those type of builds do that much better the more games we get. The exception may be Champions League, where there's just so many goals, and sometimes the goals are concentrated because you get PSG as a minus 1,700 favorite. You can fit Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, and you probably should do that. So, anyhow, should be a fun one. Quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment if you enjoy the video or the audio, and let's just get into it. I almost said let's ride. Okay, Russell Wilson. Get out of my head. Anyhow, we're going to start with Tottenham going to Bournemouth, minus 143. Spurs, I don't know. It's kind of a broken record with me and Spurs from a DFS perspective. I just don't like them, like rarely, if ever. They just, I don't know. It's Son and Kane, and like, you know, you'll get Perisic in there every once in a while and kind of screw up Son's for a little bit. But I still love Son. I still think he's a lock on the slate. The trick part might be that, you know, I don't know if Conte will do some rotation here, because midweek Spurs, that Champions League game is that important for them to advance, so we might see some rotation. But if it's normal, I think Son's a lock. Kane more GPP. If you don't see Son though, and you do see like Perisic, then like Perisic should be a lock and load. There's a shot. I didn't really think about that until I started talking out loud. There's definitely a shot at that. So just watch the Spurs lineup. That's it from Spurs. That's all you want. You don't want to get too frisky with them. Bournemouth at home versus Spurs. You know, if you want to, that Bournemouth might be a good GPP team, especially if Tottenham rotates and are kind of like not focused. They didn't get corners last game, but we had seen Lewis Cook, who's super cheap, invade on Tavernier. Still like Tavernier, but if you like need a true punt, then I think Lewis Cook, you can do worse than doing that. But if you're going to kind of go them GPP, you probably just want to go for the goals, and like Solanke, Christie's always a little bit interesting. You know, Philip Billing always seems to score anytime he's on a DFS slate. So, yeah, that would be Bournemouth. Let's go to Wolves versus Brentford. I think this game's actually really important for DFS, which is disgusting, but it's the truth. So from Wolves, let's start out Hugo Bueno, probably one of the locks of the slate, 4,200, playing left back, taking and splitting sets. Really like him. It's been good in both starts. Obviously, the first start was a little bit, the log's a little bit inflated by the assist. But the last one, he was just crossing the ball like crazy, which is what we want, especially from a cheaper fullback. So I really like Hugo Bueno. I think the big discussion will just be, you know, if you play John Moutinho. I've been doing it, you know, it's kind of my brand to kind of hate on John Moutinho, but when the price is right and the build's right, I really don't mind it. I think he's 4,700. We're getting closer. Like, once it starts getting, you know, in the mid 5,000s, I'm really going to start debating that we need to fade him. But, you know, if it's just going to be him with a monopoly of, or a good majority of the sets, and then Hugo Bueno's taking some of them, I don't really see a problem with that. I also like Adama Traore, sub-set at 7,000 still. We know when Traore's in, he just takes guys on, gets to the byline, crosses the ball. I mean, that's all we want. He's not going to get any set pieces, but he's going to cross the ball like he did. So those are some really good options from Wolves, who, you know, here, they are like a plus 240. So it's not like they're in great, like the best spot, but I think they have some viable options. For Brentford, Jensen's been really good. He's definitely in that price tag that I am worried about his type of profile. A guy that's not really in the box too much. Still more of like I guess he's more like box to box, the way that they've been playing him lately. But, you know, it's not playing like a 10 role, not playing it like an advanced role in their like midfield 3. But he's been taking close to Monopoly, and Buemo will take some too. But I think he's really good. I think he's probably going to be pretty popular in cash, just because they are a solid favorite, or not even really a solid favorite. They're only plus 120, but they are slightly favored at home. Brentford's been good at home. I can also see you people, you know, getting getting frisky with Tony. I wouldn't in cash, but I have no problem in GPP. We just saw Wolves allow a ton of goals. I don't remember who it was, but Wolves have been shaky defensively. But like, you know, Tony and Buemo, I could see those two both being really nice plays. And Buemo never is getting ownership, but I actually do like him for cash. He's, you know, like low sixes, a few set pieces, attacking minded on a team that, you know, is playing a bad defensive team. So that would be my Brentford pieces. Like if you want to go like left wing back, like Rico Henry, that's fine too. But those would be the guys that target. Villa going to Newcastle. Don't overreact to Villa's last game. I thought it was a little bit predictable. Your new manager bounce. You know, Villa's spent a ton of money in the offseason. So, you know, I thought it made sense for them to be at home. New manager bounce. Just kind of everything like collided perfectly. Leon Bailey was taking, Luis Diaz were taking some sets, Luis Diaz, Douglas Luiz. That was not even close. They were splitting set pieces. Ashley Young took one. Been taking like a random one. I don't love anybody from them because I actually quite like Newcastle. I've always been a huge fan of Newcastle at home, even when in their down years. So I'm not really going my way, but I think Bailey would be the one I'm most likely drawn to. You know, attacking as like a winger, forward eligible, 6,000s. I think that's very fine. If that's where you end up being, he's definitely cash viable. Douglas Luiz, though, on the other hand, very much central midfielder, defensive responsibilities first, occasional set piece. If you don't get enough sets, you're screwed. So not the biggest Luiz fan here. On Newcastle, Trippier is a lock of the slate. He's like 7,800. He could be 9,000. He'd be a lock. Monopoly set pieces for Newcastle. Super attacking. Even gets you some defensive peripherals. It's everything you want out of a defender. He's better than TAA right now. So, and nobody's ever complained about paying 7,800 for TAA as a minus 125 here at home. So I don't understand why we would complain about Trippier at this point. I think the question from there is anybody else that you go. I think it's Almiron at this point is becoming cash viable. You know, playing winger, scoring a lot of goals, getting a lot of attention too. Hopefully that's not a bad thing that he's getting the attention. I did say notice Joelinton like really low, like 4,400. Really interesting at that play depending on how builds shake out. Because I like Newcastle here. Joelinton's actually shown some floor this year. Still just show up in spots where he could get a goal. So going Joelinton, I kind of like 4 punt. Wilson more GPP. Whoever starts at left wing, more GPP if it's Frazier. I don't think St. Maximin, I can't recall, I didn't put it on my notes. I don't think he's back, but they've also put like Jacob Murphy there. I don't know his price. Jacob Murphy can be pretty solid. Yeah, that's Newcastle. Let's go next game. Chelsea plus 130 at Brighton. I really don't like this game. Chelsea sucks for DFS. Mason Mount, I think, is a fine price. That's the only guy I would even touch with a 10-foot pole. Chilwell sucks as a left wing back, even with the occasional sets. He just doesn't do anything. Cucurella normally protects behind him. Chelsea just passes the ball around a ton, doesn't cross the ball a ton. You really got to get their goals and their assists right for them to work out. This is not my style. I like Brighton at the Amex. I like Brighton pissed off that Graham Potter left the midseason. Like, I don't know. I'm just off Chelsea here. Just off. It could kill me. So be it. That's how I feel. Brighton, you know, for all those reasons I just said that I'm off Chelsea, I can kind of be on Brighton, especially in GPP. I think the cash discussion is, do you play Pascal Gross, 7,100? He does split sets with Solly March, but his floor is awesome. Just look at his logs. His floor is awesome. It's been awesome for 2-3 years. I really don't mind him here because I do think Brighton shows up. Like, I think Brighton gets really up for this game. You know, the funny thing is, like, as I was building, I think I might be forcing Gross into my builds because of Son. So, like, if Son's out, that's going to open everything up. But I really like Gross. I just really like him. But I could see myself getting off by Saturday. Solly March is fine, too, but he's a little expensive, 6,000. Like, you'd just rather have Gross to fill the forward spot and spend 1,100 more. Lamptey starts at right back's really interesting. That's another Chelsea guy that they didn't want. So, I could see him kind of showing up. And then anybody else at GPP. Last game. Yeah, I can't read my own writing. Oh, Southampton. It says like some. I'm like, what is SOM? Sunderland in the Premier League? No. Southampton at Palace. Palace minus 112. Okay, so here's the deal. Like last game, like Elise has come in, and then that makes like Eze less interesting because they split sets, and then neither one of them are cheap. But then last game, it was like all Eze. So he's expensive, but like if we don't get Son, I would probably like Eze. Or you can just go sexier and just play Zaha. I think Elise at his price is just a little too expensive, but I also don't hate just like a Palace mini stack. Palace at Selhurst is always one of my favorite things. So yeah, that's where I would stand with Palace. Nobody else. It's just that front three. And obviously, like if Edwards in, you're fine. For Southampton, it's James Ward-Prowse or bust. I like his price. I think it just all depends on build. It's really hard to get there. If like you play like Jensen, if you play Moutinho, if you play Son, it's like really hard to get there. But depending on shakeups and like builds, you know, James Ward-Prowse is definitely at the top. But like his floor is always gonna be close to double digits. Crystal Palace is not like a possession dominant team, so I think that he could really work out well, especially good for cash. So all right, that'll do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, all the good stuff. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment. With that, I'll say, see you.